What's going on, y'all? We're out here in the garage today, and we're gonna give y'all a little tour of our kayak tournament fishing setup. I own a 2020 Nucanoe Frontier 12, and I'm kind of thrifty if you guys can't tell, so I've made a couple of things myself and built a couple of things myself just to try to save some money and just get things to work for me. So let's start at the bow. We'll go to the stern, and I'll explain to you the things I built, why I have things where I have them, and how I utilize them out on the water. So let me get this camera flipped around and we'll get started. All right, you guys, starting up here, this right here is the Nucanoe adapter plate so that I'm able to put a trolling motor on the front of this. I do use my XI3 that I swap back and forth from my Super Guide to this. I have not cut the shaft down because I do swap it back and forth, but I have the receiver puck right there on the boat and on here so that I'm able to move it back and forth. I do have this thing wired with red and green lights so that I'm able to have the trolling motor on here. You know, I had to register it, and I have to follow by the guidelines and keep myself safe out there because we do launch before light sometimes. Right here, I do have some wire running through the hull of the boat with Anderson connectors to put my battery for the kayak in the back. I do have a Tracker lithium 80 amp hour battery that runs it. And I do have some MOYAK through hole fittings to keep all the water out. I wired the navigation lights and the anchor lights up here to the front. They are fused, and I'm able to just plug them in. So I just plug it in right there to my lithium battery that I use for all of my electronics, and I'm able to get that accomplished. I do run my graph, which is my LOWRANCE FS7, off of that same battery. Right here's where the transducer mounts, and right here's where the fish finder mounts. I just run the cabling through here and into this front hatch. It is fused, and it runs off of the same battery. This right here is going to be my pull cord to release and pull up the XI3. I do have one that attaches to the top of the trolling motor as well, so that I can bring it back as well as pull that clip. This piece right here is something that I made myself. It's just made out of wood and some 1-bys. It brings it up just about even, so it works perfect once that I have the transducer mount over there, and it just allows it to hang right off the side. I'm just utilizing some carriage bolts here that are 1/4-20s, and I bring those all the way up through and got them with a washer and a wing nut. I do have my catch board, which is tethered to the plate so that I don't lose that thing. On the far side, you'll see that I utilize the same piece on the other side for my paddle, because you always got to have a paddle. I have had my trolling motor mess up on me and me have to use the paddle, and it was not fun. I have a video of that if you want to check it out. Right back here, I have my seat. I do own a second seat, so I can run this thing tandem, and this would be my rear seat. I built these risers right here. There's actually 2 of them on each side. That's an old Bimini top frame that I was able to cut down and stack, and I actually used 5/16 T-bolts that are for toilet, and I didn't have to cut them down or anything. They come up just enough where I can use these oversized knobs and get it really secure in there. I painted them black to match everything, and it works out really well. This thing's just as stable up there as it is sitting down flush. I do have a couple of things attached. This right here is going to be for what starts and stops my cameras. That really helps with the editing. If you do any filming and you want to not have to sift through hours and hours of footage, if you just hit stop at certain points, you'll know that you're at the end of the section of that clip and you don't have to go searching. I do have my braid scissors right here, and on the other side tethered, I just have a cheap fisherman's tool. It's pliers, and you can cut things and all that good stuff. Moving on back, just kind of throw my net here and it just kind of floats anywhere. I don't really have a good solution for that other than what it is. I like to keep my deck nice and clean. That way I don't have to worry a whole lot about, you know, tripping over stuff or having things in the way. I do have it clean so that I can lay fishing rods down the sides on each side, and sometimes even in between my feet. So moving on a little further back, I actually built this crate, and you can see that I have my camera mount for the back and my anchor light back here. The anchor light has its own receptacle, and it's wired in with the 2 lights up in the front. So I don't have to worry about batteries or anything like that as far as changing them out inside of a pole. I can just make sure that I'm charged with my other batteries and throw them all in the boat, and they'll last me several days. So this crate setup is something that I actually came up with myself. It's part of the rigid system, and it works out pretty well for me. In this top box, it is gasketed, so it's not super deep, but it's able to hold a lot of things for me. It's got my soft plastics and my weights and my hooks and things like that in there. It's got this little box over here where I just keep some odds and ends. Underneath this, I carry my rope for launching, and I've got just a rig and a couple other things in there. I do fish a lot of soft plastics, so it's beneficial for me to have this on top. And if I do need to get into anything else, all I have to do is just pop this out and then lift the other side up. Once that it's lifted up, it's still in on the other side, so I don't have to worry about it really going anywhere. If I want to, I can take it off and set it in the floor right here and not have to worry about anything. So what I have in here is I have a bunch of my essentials, some bug spray. I've got my clip to hold my identifier. You got some toilet wipes, just odds and ends over here that I need for everything. I got a backup remote for the XI3 because we all know how those things do. But then I have a Bass Pro Shops tackle box in here, and it works out really well. It sits down in here, and I'm able to just open it up, grab the tackle boxes that I need out of there, and then put it right back. On this far side over here, I've got all my scents and stuff, so I'm able to keep that open, and it keeps it all aired out. I don't have to worry about it. So once it's down, you just push that back up, and this thing is there. I mounted this bottom crate to a piece of starboard, and I just have a couple of T-track bolts and some thumb screws holding it down. So that thing is not going anywhere. All in all, I love that thing. It keeps my boat very clean. On the back, I mounted 5 rod holders. So I utilize the middle one for my camera pole. and then I use the other 4 for my fishing rods. I am able to carry the ones on the sides right through here, so I typically carry 7 rods with me. That's 1 in my hand, 1 on each side, and then 4 in the back. I always have my battery right here for my trolling motor, and then I've got some clips that just hold it in and secure it on each side. And last but not least, here's where my power comes out and hooks up to the battery for the run up to the front for the trolling motor. And then of course I have my flag for whenever I'm pulling it down the road. I have been very happy with this kayak since I've had it. I really can't say anything bad about it. It's super stable. It goes decently fast. I get, you know, about a little over 4 miles an hour when I'm out on the water. So all in all, it's been a great boat. I've had a lot of fun and caught a lot of fish out of it. So if you guys have any questions about my tournament setup or have any suggestions on what I could do to make my setup better, I'd love to hear them. I'm always open to try new things, and I'm always open to seeing what other people do and the way they see things, because who knows, they might see something that I don't see. So you guys get in the comment section down there and let me know what you think. I'm gonna get out of here for this one, and we'll see y'all on the next one.